Electricity and water don't usually mix, so can you ride an electric scooter in the rain? The answer is yes. If you know what you're doing and you pick the right scooter, by the end of this video, you have the information you'll need to do it safely. You won't get electrocuted if that's what you're worried about. Electric scooters are covered with rubber and other insulating materials to keep riders safe. But as anyone who's ever dropped their phone in the toilet can tell you, water can turn your battery-powered device into a brick. And almost all electric scooter warranties don't cover water damage, so there is some risk. In this video, we're going to show you how to minimize the risk to both you and your scooter, based on my experience and including Paul's 20 years of riding rain or shine on both motorcycles and scooters. There's no such thing as a waterproof scooter, but like most electronic devices, many electric scooters are rated for ingress protection from dirt and liquid. You'll see the number in a spec like IP54 sometimes. First digit is dust protection, which we don't really care about. And the second number in IP rating stands for water protection. The higher it is, the better. An IP54 scooter will be fine in light rain, for example. Just don't ride it through any puddles, even if it don't look that deep at first. Whatever the IP rating, you should do your best to towel off your scooter after you ride it in the rain and then park it in a warm indoor location or garage so it has a chance to completely dry itself before you take it on your next ride. If you're going to be riding a lot in the rain, take the time to inspect your scooter, especially the battery compartment and anywhere cables enter the frame. It never hurts to add a little black silicone in areas that look vulnerable. What about the dangers to you, the rider? Is riding in the rain too risky? It can be if you don't have the right scooter or don't practice safe riding habits. But we've got wet weather riding tips and the top 7 scooters that we think work best for riding in the rain. All the electric scooters on this list have 5 of the following 6 features, making them great for riding in the rain. You'll notice we didn't include any solid tire scooters on this list because solid tires just don't have the best grip in the rain. A high IP rating, rear wheel drive, and I know that one is controversial. Large air-filled tires with great traction on wet roads. Good deck grip and hand ergonomics in wet weather. Bright lights for maximum visibility. Fender protection to keep you from getting covered in the muddy water. All right, let's get into the scooters. The Warrior XGT comes with a grippy hybrid off-road tires that work great in wet or muddy conditions. While we don't recommend going crazy in the deep mud, the high-mounted front fender is designed to not clog up with mud if you do. It's a dual motor scooter, but can be switched over to rear-wheel drive on wet roads to prevent you from spinning the front tire in corners. It might seem like more motors will give you more traction, but the opposite is true for two-wheel vehicles. This is why you never encounter front-wheel drive motorcycles. Paul, you know what? Let's bring Paul in and explain this.
All right, so rear-wheel drive makes you less likely to crash in the rain on an electric scooter because when you accelerate, most of the weight goes to the rear tire. In the rain, that leaves just enough weight on the front tire to provide traction for steering, but not enough traction to steer and accelerate at the same time. So look for scooters that either have rear-wheel drive or the option to switch from dual motors to rear motor like the Warrior XGT.
Wow, thanks, Paul. This one does have the shortest rear fender of the group, but it's easy to extend if you're going to do a lot of riding in the rain. Highest IP rating, Apollo City Pro. If you want to go a little lighter and less expensive, the Apollo City Pro is a great commuter for bad weather because of its high water resistant rating of IP56, the highest IP rating in our database. It's a combination of drum brakes and regenerative brakes because they're less prone to locking up and skidding on slippery roads. We also like that it has a flat, resistant 10-inch tubeless tire because the last thing you want in the rain is a flat tire. On scooters that give you the deepest level of control in the P settings or within the app, we recommend setting your initial acceleration for a softer as well as opting for a softer regenerative braking. Keep your braking, steering, and throttle inputs smooth to make the most of the traction you have and ride about 10% slower or otherwise just ride normally. You might be surprised to learn that you usually have 90% as much traction on the wet pavement as you do in the dry. We measured it. Just stay away from manhole covers and wet leaves because we measured those too, and they're slippery when wet. Leaves are the worst. Best budget commuters for the rain. The KQI2 Pro is our pick for best scooter under 600, and that's true. Paul did the whole KQI2 Pro range test in the rain. Its big 10-inch tubeless air-filled tires feel great and have a good grip. I've ridden solid tire scooters in the rain and it's doable, but air-filled tires are noticeably better in the rain. Front drum brakes plus the regen brakes also give you plenty of stopping power without locking up, and the grip tape covered deck makes you feel sure-footed. If you want even more range, the KQI2 Max goes 48% further and has another advantage: flat resistant tires, both of which makes it less likely that you'll end up doing a walk of shame in the rain. Bar. The KQI3's Max dual disc plus regen brakes are the strongest of any brakes on this list, so we recommend practicing emergency braking in a parking lot first before heading out on your first rainy commute with the KQI3 Max. And come to think of it, that's the good advice of all these scooters on this list. It's best to get comfortable riding in the rain when you're not already late to work. The Segway Ninebot Max has pedigree. Ever since it was introduced in 2019, it had a reputation for reliability. But when it comes to rain, the thing I like about the Ninebot Max is knowing that sharing companies like Spin have used variants of the Ninebot Max as rental scooters that stayed outside day and night, rain or shine, for years. They don't take them inside when it rains because they just keep working. You gotta love it. Ninebot Max. If you got a really long commute, the Emove Cruiser is our pick for the best long-range scooter in the rain. Many people don't realize that the Cruiser has two claims to fame: the range, of course, but it also was one of the first scooters to come with an IPX6 water-resistant rating. The rear-wheel drive scooter has full suspension, 10-inch tubeless tires, and a huge deck, all of which makes for a comfortable ride in the rain. But we would change one thing. For regular rain riding, we'll add another strip or two of grip tape to add more grip near the edges of the deck. There are plenty of great affordable scooters that will get you safely to your destination in the rain, but Segway broke new ground when they introduced the Super Scooter GT2, the first scooter we tested that has traction control. The GT2 lets you use dual motors because it senses when the front motor starts spinning and it reduces the power to that wheel. It also is the first scooter we've seen with an entire fairing surrounding the front wheel for ultimate splash protection. Just be sure you have somewhere to park it, because this big scooter has a lot of surfaces. That means if you bring it inside, you're bringing a lot of water inside too. Whatever you're riding, make sure you can see and be seen. Turn on your headlights and turn on your swag lights if you have them. You should always wear a helmet, but in the rain, a full-face motorcycle style helmet really comes in handy. It's like a tiny umbrella, but better. You can ride for hours on end and your head and neck will stay completely dry. Wear shoes with plenty of grip. My favorites are the waterproof hiking boots. Brightly colored clothing helps too, provided that you have the confidence to pull off that look. Give yourself extra following distance and look far ahead so you don't have any last minute surprises. That way you can keep all of your throttle, braking, and turning inputs smooth so you don't skid or lock up the brakes. And finally, no matter how high your IP rating, remember, scooters aren't completely waterproof. And water damage typically isn't covered under warranty, so stay out of the deep puddles and use common sense. Take a look at some of our other videos on safe riding practices in the description below. What scooters do you guys ride in the rain? Let me know in the comments. I'm Ramir from Electric Scooter Guide, the best scooter reviewers on the planet, and I'm out. Pya.